Okay, a couple of weeks ago, we had the TV show Challenge, where we all decided to watch the pilot of a show that none of us had seen before, and we decided on HBO's Hung. So, here's our reaction to that.
Alright, we just started watching Hung, Season 1, Episode 1.
The pilot.
The pilot episode. We got the Punisher over here, fucking,
right off the bat.
and there's the token black guy.
Right off the bat, anytime you start off a show talking about dung beetles, I'm down with it. This is your introduction to Thomas Jane in the show, and I felt like that was really shitty acting he did in that scene.
Really?
But I love how they started the show off with letting you know what it's about. Where, you know, like the whole world's in an economic downfall. Detroit's falling apart at the seams. So you know what the show's about right off the bat. The economy's down, which will lead into why he becomes what he becomes in the show, because the economy's falling apart. I love that. But outside of a few lines, I really didn't like the opening scene. He didn't do a good job acting to me, and I love Thomas Jane, so I hate saying that. So we just watched the house burning scene. And the first thing I would like to get is the opinion of an actual firefighter. How well did you think the fire burning scene went as far as, visual effects?
Dude, the visual effects were awesome. You know, I was looking around, watching all the firefighters do whatever they do, and they were doing everything right.
You know, the show's more about the shit he's going through than a fire, but I did want to get your perspective on that. But I actually really loved the reaction post-fire where he's, worried about where his daughter is. She shows up. He's pissed off that she was out late, but at the same time, you got to be glad she wasn't there while the fire was going on. But going from how the show started till now, I was really worried about Thomas Jane because I thought his acting in the opening scene was horrible. Much better that time around. So now we know this guy. It's hard economic times. He's having difficulty because he went through a divorce. Now his house is burned. So he's got to turn to something financially to be able to live better, support his family better. So now we have even more reason why he's turned into what he's eventually going to turn to. So that's a good story development there. They show the flashback scene to where she tells him who she's leaving him for and all that shit. And she did a really good job being a psychotic wife that's reached the end of her fucking rope and all of that shit. But I do find it hard to believe that part of why she's unhappy with him is because she was a beauty queen and she needs to live a life of a beauty queen. Because how the fuck is Anne Heche ever a beauty queen? She fucking licked Ellen DeGeneres' twat.
By proxy, she has licked Portia de Rossi's twat, which I would like to go to.
Only if Ellen and Portia have ever bumped twats. They're married. But that doesn't mean they bump twats. Like, you know what a married lesbian couple does for a living?
Go to the fucking Whole Foods.
They go to Food Line and donate. Anyway, so we just finished the first episode, the pilot episode of Hung. Overall impressions, Blair?
Nope.
None? I understand it's slow because it's the pilot. You got to introduce what the show's about and some of the characters and stuff. But I think it's a promising pilot, though. I mean, I did call it that poet chick was going to be his pimp. But I think for a pilot episode, I thought it was pretty solid. I think it's a promising show after one episode.
You think?
Yeah, we're going to give it at least one more to see what we really think about the show, because you know how pilots are. I mean, the pilot of Psych was a really good pilot, but there still wasn't a whole lot.
I didn't like it. I don't think that what's his face is
Thomas Jane.
I think Thomas was a fucking weak character in The Punisher. I mean,
I got a voicemail from Nick. He's been kind of busy lately, so we had him watch the show and record his thoughts. He was supposed to call me, but I missed the call, so he left the voicemail, blah, blah, blah. So, here's the voicemail that he left about the pilot episode of Hung.
Hey guys, it's Nick. Sorry I couldn't be there in person this week, because I was busy writing the rest of the season. About the show Hung. As I was watching it, the show really reminds me of an Alexander Payne film like Election or About Schmidt or Sideways, one of those movies where with the quirky narration style, things like that. I thought the narration style had something about it that was really intriguing to me. I think the choice of actors in it is really good. I'm not so sure about the kids, of course. It's just one episode that I watched, the first one. Anne Heche is the ex-wife who's doing better without him. I thought she shows a lot of promise. She really doesn't get a whole lot of play these days, but she had some really good movies in the 90s that she was in, like Donnie Brasco, 6 Days, 7 Nights. I guess that's a good movie. The way I remember it is. I remember the film burned out in the last 10 minutes. I was kind of irritated with that on a date and the whole thing. But anyway, like I said, love the narrative, the quirky style. Anne Heche, Thomas Jane, both good actors. The kids, not so good. I like, that how it starts out and you see that he does have something else going on the side, and then it goes back and shows you what led to that. It's pretty neat. And you kind of feel bad for the character, especially with all of his newspaper clippings and metals and things melting in the house fire. I would definitely watch more. I'd give it another 2 episodes anyway, the whole 3-episode rule. I would definitely watch more. But that's my take on the first episode of Hung, HBO's Hung. And be interested to hear what you guys think about it. It's really all I can add. See you guys.
Alright, we're done talking about this shit. See you guys next week. You might want to go on to the next part.